All right, folks. Uh, Gather around the digital campfire, as they say, right? Because tonight we are diving deep into some seriously forbidden territory.
Ooh, I like it.
You ever get that feeling?
I do.
That maybe, just maybe, those ancient myths that we all know and love
Yeah.
aren't just myths.
Oh, tell me more.
That maybe somewhere in that dusty old history book, there's like a whole chapter they just decided to rip out.
Like they're hiding it from us?
Yeah, just like, nope, nobody needs to know about this one.
Right.
Well, buckle up, because here on Forbidden Unveiled, that's exactly what we're after.
We love the forbidden.
I'm your host, John Doe, and I've got our resident paranormal expert, Jane Doe, ready to unearth some seriously wild stuff tonight.
Hey, everybody.
Jane, I gotta say, this one's a doozy.
Lay it on me.
We're talking Sumerian civilization.
Okay.
Annunaki, the works.
I am so ready for this.
I did some digging, and honestly, it's like someone took ancient astronaut theory and cranked it up to 11.
Seriously? Okay, so for anyone who's like, wait, who? What? The Sumerians, they were like the rock stars of ancient Mesopotamia. Okay.
Okay.
I mean, they invented writing, law, the wheel, you name it, way before anybody else was even close.
Yeah, they were way ahead of the game.
Way ahead.
Like, it's kind of suspicious almost.
Robos.
Right?
Mm.
So they had all these crazy texts
Yes.
describing these gods, the
Yeah.
Anunnaki, right?
Right.
But these weren't just like, you know,
Fuzzy.
typical spiritual...
Ooh, vague.
Yeah, these were like active players in the Sumerian world.
They were real to them.
Yeah, like full of all this drama and conflict.
Oh, yeah.
And some, honestly, like,
Really questionable choices.
yeah, some really bad decisions. Let's just say that.
Yeah, they weren't exactly role models.
Definitely not your grandma's Sunday school deities.
No, not at all.
Okay, so we got to break down like this whole Anunnaki family tree because it's a little complicated.
It is. It's a little wild.
Okay, so you've got,
Oh.
no,
He's like the top dog,
the
right?
big she's.
Yeah.
Up there in the sky, not really. Doesn't really get his hands dirty with all the earthly drama.
He's above it all.
Yeah, just kind of like watching everything unfold.
Right.
Then you've got Enlil, his son, kind of a thunder god with a serious control complex.
Yeah, like a cosmic micromanager.
You nailed it.
Always got to be in charge.
So not a fun guy to hang out with.
Not really, no.
But then there's Enki, the other son.
Now he's interesting.
Okay, this is where things get juicy.
Juicy is a good word.
He's the god of water, wisdom, creation.
Well, the good stuff.
Right. But also a bit of a rebel, kind of a trickster god almost.
Yeah, and like weirdly sympathetic to humans.
Yeah, he's got a soft spot for us, it seems.
He does, yeah.
Okay, so we've got this divine sibling rivalry.
Oh, yeah. Always a good time.
It never ends well.
Never.
But this whole Anunnaki thing, it goes way beyond just a pantheon of gods.
Oh, way beyond.
This is like,
We're talking beings who might have messed with our DNA, engineered humans.
ooh.
Yeah, and maybe even triggered a global flood.
Okay, hold up. We got to talk about this.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can't talk about the Anunnaki without this guy, Zechariah Sitchin, right?
Right, he's like the Anunnaki whisperer.
Yeah, he spent decades translating all these Sumerian texts.
Yes.
And he came up with some pretty mind-blowing interpretations, let's just say.
Mind-blowing is putting it mildly.
Okay, so Jane, lay it on us. Hit us with the Sitchin lowdown.
Okay, so Sitchin, he argued that the Anunnaki, they weren't gods, not in like the traditional sense.
Okay.
They were these advanced beings from another planet, and the planet was called Nibiru.
On a Nibiru.
Nibiru.
That's that rogue planet that's supposed to like slam into Earth and all kinds of chaos.
Yeah, that's the one.
All the conspiracy theorists are always talking about.
Right, and Sitchin said it had this crazy 3,600-year orbit.
What?
Yeah, and every time it passed by Earth, its gravity would just wreak havoc.
Like, what kind of havoc are we talking about here?
Well, think the Great Flood.
The Great Flood?
Yeah.
Like the one in the Bible?
That's right, and it's not just the Bible.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere. Ancient Mesopotamia, Native American legends, all these different cultures.
It's like they all witnessed the same event.
Exactly, and the descriptions are so similar, it's eerie.
All right, paint us a picture. What would this have been like?
Okay, so imagine, the ground starts shaking, earthquakes everywhere.
Okay.
Then you see these fiery rocks falling from the sky.
Like meteors.
Yeah, and then the ocean starts to recede.
Like way back.
Way back, like you've never seen it before.
So you can walk out.
You could walk out for miles.
Wow.
And then this massive tidal waves.
Oh, no.
Just wipes everything out.
That is terrifying.
It's a pretty intense image, right?
Yeah. I'm getting chills just thinking about it.
But, okay, back to the Anunnaki and their whole gold obsession.
Right, because that was like a big part of Sitchin's theory, right?
Huge. And this is where it gets really wild.
Okay.
He said they needed the gold to repair their planet's atmosphere.
Their atmosphere.
Yeah, Nibiru's atmosphere.
Okay, so they came all the way to Earth
All the way
for our gold,
just for gold.
for fix their own planet.
That's right.
Okay, that's a pretty long commute for some home improvement.
You could say that, but here's the craziest part.
It gets crazier.
It does. Sitchin claimed that the Anunnaki, they genetically engineered early humans to be their miners.
Hold on, you're telling me that humans were basically created to be like an alien workforce?
For a cosmic gold rush, pretty much.
That is heavy stuff.
It is, right?
I mean, it kind of makes you think about that whole like humans are creating God's image thing.
Right, but in this case, God isn't some mystical being in the clouds.
It's
It's these advanced aliens from another planet.
Wow, okay, so we've got ancient aliens, genetic engineering, and maybe even this rogue planet on its way back.
It's a lot to take in.
This is some next level stuff.
It is.
But
Huh?
how much of this is like actually backed up by what's in those Sumerian texts?
That is the question, isn't it?
Right. Yeah, and how much is Sitchin just kind of,
Reading between the lines.
yeah, like filling in the blanks with his own ideas?
Making some leaps, yeah.
Okay, so we're stepping into some seriously murky waters here.
We are.
We've got these ancient texts, and
Mhm.
we've got Sitchin's interpretations of them,
Right.
and a whole lot of mystery.
A whole lot.
What I want to know is there any, like, actual evidence to support this wild Anunnaki theory?
Good question.
Or is this all just a really good story?
I mean, that's what we're here to find out, right?
We are, and trust me, you won't believe what we've uncovered.
Buckle up, everybody.
So stay tuned, because we're about to dive into the evidence right after this quick break, and don't forget to subscribe and leave us your thoughts.
We love hearing from you guys.
Yeah, let us know what you think down below.
Do you believe in the Anunnaki?
Who knows? Maybe we'll find out tonight.
Welcome back to Forbidden Unveiled.
Right.
Where we left off,
Yeah.
kind of dangling over this chasm of questions. Like,
Yeah.
did these Anunnaki actually exist?
Like, were they really here?
Or is this just ancient mythology with, like, some extra embellishment?
Yeah, like, did Sitchin maybe get a little carried away?
Maybe.
So we're on the hunt for some hard proof, right?
Right, like some cold, hard evidence.
Are there actual clues out there that back up this wild Anunnaki theory?
Okay.
Like, is there anything concrete?
There's some truly bizarre pieces of the puzzle
Okay.
that fit a little too perfectly.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Remember those elongated skulls we mentioned earlier?
Oh, yeah, those things, yeah.
Turns out they're not just like a figment of some ancient artist's imagination.
Yeah, those things look like they came straight out of a sci-fi movie.
Right. Right. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
And archaeologists have found a number of them.
Like multiple.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Like, most famously, Queen Puabi's skull.
Queen Puabi.
Yeah, from the Royal Cemetery of Ur.
Okay.
And it's significantly larger and more elongated than a typical human skull.
So are we talking Anunnaki royalty just like strolling around ancient Sumer?
Some people think so.
I mean, it's possible.
It's possible, but
Or
it gets even weirder.
weirder.
Yeah.
Okay, lay it on me.
Over in Peru,
Peru. Okay.
there are these skulls called the Paracas skulls,
Okay.
and they're even more elongated.
Than the other ones.
Oh, yeah, with cranial volumes way bigger than normal human skulls.
That's crazy.
And get this, DNA analysis has shown some genetic markers that are totally unique,
Unique.
not found in any known human population.
Whoa, are we talking like alien DNA here?
It's definitely a head scratcher.
That's wild.
But even more interesting is that some of the Paracas skulls, they show a genetic link to the Middle East.
Hold on, how does that happen? Like ancient Sumerians hopping on a plane to Peru. That doesn't quite add up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It suggests some kind of like ancient connection that we haven't figured out yet.
Right.
Maybe a long-lost seafaring civilization,
Okay.
or maybe something even more out there.
You're really pulling me in here.
I know.
So we've got strange skulls, we've got mystery DNA.
Uh-huh.
What else is out there that just like screams Anunnaki?
Well, how about a whole new planet?
Oh, here we go.
Remember Nibiru?
Yeah. The supposed home planet of the Anunnaki.
That's the one.
The planet-sized wrecking ball
Yes.
that Sitchin said caused all that chaos.
Well, astronomers have been searching for this hypothetical planet called Planet 9 for years.
Planet 9.
Planet 9.
Okay.
And they've observed these gravitational anomalies in the outer solar system. Yeah, that suggests there's this large unseen planet out there that's like tugging on objects.
But are you saying that Planet 9 could actually be Nibiru?
It's a theory.
Wow.
Some people are definitely running with it.
Yeah.
And Planet 9, it's thought to have this super distant and elliptical orbit, just like the one Sitchin described for Nibiru.
Really?
Yeah, and if the calculations are right, it would swing through the inner solar system every few thousand years.
Oh, man.
Spooky, right?
Okay, things are getting really spooky here.
I know, right?
Okay, but hold on. Let's pump the brakes a little bit here.
Okay.
Didn't you say there were some arguments against the Annunaki theory, too?
Right.
Like, let's hear the other side of the story before we get too carried away.
Right. It's important to look at all the angles.
Yeah.
As much as I love a good conspiracy,
Me too.
we have to acknowledge that a lot of scholars are pretty critical of Sitchin's work.
Okay, so they're basically saying he was like twisting the Sumerian texts to fit his narrative.
Yeah, that's the gist of it.
Okay.
They argue that he misinterprets certain passages, cherry picks information, and even mistranslates words to support his theories.
Right. And we are dealing with texts that are incredibly old.
Incredibly old.
Written in complex languages.
Really complex.
That can be open to interpretation.
Right. There's a lot of room for debate.
So maybe Sitchin was getting a little too creative with his translations?
It's possible.
Turning regular Sumerian gods into, like, planet-hopping, gold-obsessed engineers?
Yeah. I mean, it's a good story.
It is.
But yeah, maybe he took some liberties.
And let's be honest, the whole idea of an advanced alien species visiting Earth thousands of years ago,
I mean, come on.
that's a pretty big claim.
It's a huge claim.
Yeah, mainstream science isn't exactly lining up to embrace the idea of ancient astronauts.
Not.
What kind of evidence would it take to convince them?
I think they'd need something much more concrete than just, elongated skulls and weird DNA.
Right.
We're talking like irrefutable physical proof.
Okay.
Like alien artifacts, technology that we just can't explain, maybe even a welcome to Earth sign signed by the Annunaki themselves.
That would be pretty convincing.
That would be pretty hard to argue with.
Okay, so we've got compelling evidence.
We do.
And we've got equally compelling counter-arguments.
Yeah.
It's like this cosmic tug of war.
It is.
And honestly, I'm not sure which side to believe.
Me neither. It's one of those mysteries that keeps you guessing.
Yeah, and it's so fascinating.
It is.
But, even if the Anunnaki weren't literally aliens,
right?
I think the fact that these myths have persisted for so long,
for so
many different cultures, tells us something pretty profound about the human psyche.
It does, doesn't it?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like we've always been looking for answers.
Always.
For something bigger than ourselves.
Nothing more.
Even if those answers turn out to be more myth than fact.
It's about the search itself.
I know what you mean.
It's like we've come so far technologically.
Yeah.
But in a way, we're still grappling with those same big questions that haunted our ancestors.
Totally. Like, where did we come from?
Exactly.
Are we alone in the universe?
Big question.
What's our purpose? Like, why are we here?
Yeah.
And the Anunnaki myth, with its advanced beings, its creation stories, and its cosmic dramas, it offers a powerful, albeit unconventional way of exploring those questions.
Definitely unconventional.
But it's also like a blueprint.
A blueprint.
For our collective imagination.
Like a framework.
Yeah, a framework for grappling with the unknown.
And it gives us this narrative, a set of characters, a conflict that mirrors our own human struggles.
Totally. And within that framework, we find echoes of our own fears and aspirations.
Like our deepest hopes and anxiety.
Exactly. Like the idea that we might be the product of genetic engineering.
Right.
It raises all these questions about free will.
About who's really in control.
Yeah, about our relationship with our creators, if you want to call them that.
Yeah, our creators.
About the very nature of what it means to be human.
What does it even mean to be human?
And then there's that whole Nibiru angle.
Oh, yeah.
This rogue planet that could potentially return and just wreak havoc on Earth.
It's a scary thought.
It speaks to, like, this primal fear.
Yeah.
Of these cosmic forces beyond our control.
Like we're at the mercy in the universe.
Yeah, a fear that's probably been hardwired into us since we first looked up at the sky.
Since the dawn of humanity.
And realized just how small and vulnerable we are.
It's humbling, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think it's that vulnerability that makes the Anunnaki myth so compelling.
I think you're right.
Like, we want to believe that there's something out there, right?
Yeah.
Something greater than ourselves.
Something to believe in.
Something that might offer us guidance or protection, or even just an explanation for why we're here.
Yeah, like we're not just random accidents.
And if that something happens to be a group of technologically advanced aliens with a fondness for gold and a knack for genetic engineering.
Well, hey, who are we to judge?
Right.
But even if it's all just a story,
Yeah.
a product of human imagination just grappling with the mysteries of the universe,
Right.
it still holds value.
Absolutely. I think that's what makes the Anunnaki myth so fascinating.
It's a story that just keeps on giving.
It's not just about the facts. It's about what those facts represent.
It's about us.
It's about our hopes and fears, our desire for meaning, our need to connect with something bigger than ourselves.
Exactly.
And who knows?
Maybe the truth is out there.
Maybe the truth about our origins is even wilder than anything we can imagine.
That would be amazing.
Maybe those ancient myths are holding on to secrets that we're just not ready to comprehend yet.
Like we haven't evolved enough.
Yeah, our brains would just explode.
Meltdown.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a tantalizing thought, isn't it?
It is. That'll definitely keep me up at night.
Hey.
I think that's what Forbidden Unveiled is all about, right?
Exploring the fringes, pushing the boundaries of what we think we know.
Yeah, and maybe uncovering a few hidden truths along the way.
Big disaster.
So what do you think?
Yeah, dear listeners, what do you think?
Are we the descendants of ancient astronauts?
Or are we just a species with a really good imagination?
We'd love to hear your theories.
Head over to our website or find us on social media and let us know what you think.
And as always, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the forbidden.
Until next time, keep those minds open.
And those eyes peeled.
For the unexplained.
Okay, so we're back. And my brain is officially, like, fried after all that Anunnaki talk.
Yeah, it's a lot to process.
It's like trying to assemble a jigsaw puzzle.
Right.
Where, like, half the pieces are missing.
Right.
And the other half might be from a completely different puzzle.
It's a good analogy. It really is.
But even without, like, definitive answers.
Yeah.
Even if the Anunnaki never actually, like, walked among us.
Right.
You know, literally. There's got to be a reason why these stories have captivated humans for, like, millennia.
Oh, absolutely.
They touch on something deep within us, you know?
Totally. Like the sense of wonder. This desire to understand our place in the cosmos.
Like, where do we fit in?
Exactly.
In this whole grand scheme of things.
That's a big question.
It is. And you know what's funny?
What's that?
We've come so far technologically.
We have.
But in a way, we're still grappling with those same big questions that, like, haunted our ancestors.
Totally.
Where do we come from?
Are we alone?
What's our purpose?
Why are we here?
Yeah, it's like we're still searching for those answers.
Always searching.
And the Anunnaki myth.
Yeah.
With its advanced beings and its creation stories and all those cosmic dramas, it offers, like, this powerful, albeit unconventional way of exploring those questions.
It's a different perspective, for sure.
It's like almost like a blueprint.
A blueprint.
Yeah.
I like that.
For our collective imagination.
Yeah, like a framework.
A framework for grappling with the unknown.
And it gives us this narrative, these characters, this conflict that mirrors our own human struggles.
Absolutely.
Right.
And within that framework, we find echoes of our own fears and aspirations.
Right, like the things that keep us up at night.
Yeah, exactly.
The things that we dream about.
Like, take the idea that we might be the product of genetic engineering.
Okay.
That raises questions about free will.
About who's really in control.
Yeah, like, are we really masters of our own destiny?
It makes you wonder...
Or are we just playing out some cosmic script that was written for us, like, eons ago?
Right, like puppets on a string.
And then there's the whole Nibiru angle.
Oh, yeah, I can't forget about Nibiru.
This rogue planet that could just, like, swing back around and wreak havoc on Earth.
It's a scary thought.
It speaks to, like, this primal fear.
This deep-seated anxiety.
Of these cosmic forces that are totally beyond our control.
Like we're at the mercy of the universe.
Yeah. And that fear has probably been with us since we first looked up at the sky.
Since the dawn of humanity.
And realized just how small and vulnerable we are.
It's humbling, right?
Yeah, and I think it's that vulnerability that makes the Anunnaki myth so compelling.
I think you're onto something.
We want to believe that there's something out there.
Yeah, something bigger than ourselves.
Something greater.
Something to believe in.
Something that might offer us guidance or protection. Or even just an explanation for why we're here.
We're not just random accidents in a vast, indifferent universe.
Right? Like there's some kind of plan, some kind of purpose.
It's comforting in a way, isn't it?
It is. And if that something happens to be a group of technologically advanced aliens with a thing for gold and a knack for genetic engineering...
Well, who are we to judge?
Exactly. To each their own.
Maybe they just really like bling.
Right.
But even if it's all just a story,
yeah,
like a product of human imagination trying to make sense of the universe,
right,
it still holds value.
Absolutely. I think that's what makes the Anunnaki myth so fascinating.
It's a story that keeps on giving.
Yeah, it's not just about the facts. It's about what those facts represent.
It's about us, really.
It's about our hopes and fears, our desire for meaning, our need to connect with something bigger than ourselves.
It's a reflection of humanity itself.
And who knows? Maybe the truth about our origins is even wilder than anything we can imagine.
Maybe.
Maybe those ancient myths are holding on to secrets that we're just not ready to comprehend yet.
Like we haven't evolved enough.
Yeah, our brains would just explode.
Meltdown.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a tantalizing thought, isn't it?
It is. One that'll definitely keep me up at night. But hey.
Hey.
That's what Forbidden and Veiled is all about, right?
Exploring the fringes, pushing the boundaries of what we think we know.
Yeah, and maybe, just maybe, uncovering a few hidden truths along the way.
Exactly.
So what do you think out there?
Yeah, dear listeners, what do you think? Are we the descendants of ancient astronauts?
Or are we just a species with a really good imagination?
Head over to our website.
Or find us on social media.
Let us know what you think.
And as always, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the forbidden.
Until next time.
Keep those minds open.
And those eyes peeled for the unexplained.